Mark Daniels, the Cochise County, Arizona Sheriff. Sheriff, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me, Neil. Good to be back.
Now, I know you can't detail the specific towns the vice presidential candidate will be visiting, but obviously your county is a key part of this whole border debate. What do you want to show him without?
Wow. J.D. Vance is going down to the border as a candidate to kind of look around, be shown some things by the sheriffs down there, and to show some interest in the border. That right there is huge. I'd hate to debate him if you don't go down there and do something equally as effective. That's a pretty good campaign move on the Republicans' part.
Giving away exact places.
Well, Neil, first of all, you're exactly right. We're not going to explain what exactly we're doing when he's here, but I will say this much. We want to educate him on the good efforts of the men and women from state, local, and federal that are down here doing everything they can to keep our community, our state, and our country safe.
Yeah, so they can kind of show for themselves what they've been doing down there, what their job is, what their goal is, and what their mission is. Because it's very disingenuous for a new administration to come in and the sheriffs down there on the ground and the border and immigration personnel not be told. If there's that drastic of a contrast in Trump's policy and Biden's policy, then there absolutely has to be clarity, and it has to be communicated down to the ground. You can't just take over and just start on policy allowing immigrants in and offering opportunities and incentives to make them come in huge numbers and not update your sheriffs or give them the resources. But it wouldn't make sense to increase resources to the Border Patrol when you're allowing the immigrants to come in freely. You'd be working against yourself. So it's obvious why some programs are probably getting cut. But isn't it strange that they just change administrations and don't even go down and visit the border and get some kind of rapport or understanding with those guys?
And when he leaves here, that he can take that back and say there's a lot of innovation going on, a lot of effort going on, and most of all, the passion that we're working down here. So we're honored to be selected to come down and see us. But number two is he's the nominee for vice president. And within months of being, or weeks of being selected, he's already at the border.
That's huge. Damn. That's a serious. I mean, I don't think Trump and the Republicans are shy about their policy on the border because their people still vote. If Biden would be as open and upfront with us, I picked it up, and a lot of people did. He's in debates, and you ask him something about African Americans, and he starts blah 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 blah, and by the time he gets done, it's on Hispanics, and they're the future of the country and all of that. So I guess we're the past. We're the past of the country. I don't know what the hell we are, but he needs to define that and quit making Mexicans look like this gold box that we just can't wait to get our hands on so we can open it up because it's just full of treasures. The thing is, the asylum-seeking Hispanics from all of the South American countries that are trying to get in here, some of that stuff, they do have crisis in their country. They do have human rights issues, but so do we. And in our effort as black people to progress and get where we belong after years and years of racism and being held back, you think at one point it would be our turn, but it's never going to be our turn to get anything, but they're going to continue to harvest our vote. And that's exactly what they're doing this time, harvesting our vote so that they can get back in and then open the border back up wide, full bore, and do all they can. This is it. Well, Kamala can run again if she was to win, but trust and believe me, and I say this with the deepest sincerity, her career is done politically. As soon as she loses this election, she will go away with Doug Emhoff, whatever her damn husband's name is, and you guys won't hear or see from her again in a political arena. You heard it here on Black Popcorn first.
He knows it's a national topic. He knows it's a high point, and he's here. And I'm honored to host him.
Sheriff, there's a back and forth as to whether Kamala Harris was ever the border czar. Well, maybe that exact term wasn't mentioned, but it was very clear.
She's the border queen.
that the president had put her in charge of dealing at first with the root causes of all of this, and then essentially.
That's why I don't deal with these studies for reparations. Judy just said she was sent down there to find out the root cause. Well, the root cause is the goddamn gate is open and people are walking through it. That's the root cause. It don't take no genius to see that. You know, what is going on here? She don't have to visit the border to be effective. You can be effective without going to the border. But if you're not going to the border and you're not doing nothing, then you look horrible. And you're going to have a hard time salvaging what you have left of your political career. But you're about 60 years old. You might step away. And it would be a good idea because you are useless to us. Totally useless. All you do is beg for our votes. And you make it clear. And I have never in my life heard a politician, except Obama, rattle off our horrible conditions in this country and statistically speak clearly on where we've been and where we haven't been and racism and how it affects us and the years and years and years of lynchings and Jim Crow. You guys are just, you got it. But then you, in your next sentence, you start talking about Hispanics as if we beat the shit out of the blacks and that's it. Is nothing, I mean, is that it? It appears to be. And it appears to be clear in my mind that the Democratic Party is trying to get rid of the need for the black vote because we are eventually going to wake up and ask for something. And they're going to not give it to us, and that's going to be the problem. And right now, I think we're a little hesitant to ask Kamala for anything, and we're trying to push this Project 25, and we hate Trump, and he's the devil, so that we don't have to ask her for nothing. We want to make her feel that our vote is for her to save us. But you don't have to do anything for us. Just win. And then once you win, that's our reward. No, it isn't. Bullshit. It is not our reward. Our reward is to get something tangible like everyone else. We got folks piling into this country from that southern border, and they are not registered voters. And when they come over here, they are taking resources. So we need to be clear on that. And people saying they're not taking black jobs and they're not taking the money that is being allotted to them. If it wasn't, where would it be going? Probably not to us, but at least you can tell us you ain't giving it away to non-citizens. And real quick, I don't know if I said it in my last video because I sure meant to, and I want to pop this in here, that our new VP pick on the Democratic side, Tim Walz, is completely in line with giving immigrants driver's license in this state. Go figure that one out. It makes the roads safer. No, what makes the roads safer is to keep illegal immigrants out of our country. That's how you make the roads safer and the country.
Handling this. Now, you're on the front lines during all of that. Did you have any other view?
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, as America's sheriffs have come together, all four associations from major county sheriffs, Western, National, and Southwest Border, we've come together. We've spoke about this for the last 3.5 years. And I'll just say this to you, Neil. Western State Sheriffs Association, which is sheriffs west of the Mississippi, Southwest Border Sheriffs Association, we have a vote of no confidence against Vice President Harris as
that means they're not endorsing her.
The borders are, because she has failed to come address us. She has failed to come see us. And I saw in your previous...
and you think if you're over the border and these people work there, yet it came across their path at some point or contacted them or flew the director in or something. But the plan of the Democrats is to basically get our vote, let the immigrants in, and for us not to be mad about it. Some black people aren't. Some black people are cool with it. They're like worried about the immigrants that were put in cages and all. Well, stay on that side of the border and we have no legal right to arrest you. Come over here and we do. And we don't need to be giving out driver's license or cash or payments because it might not seem like a lot of money if you're having an immigrant $1,200 or $2,500, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But it's horrible that they're able to give immigrants that amount of money, and when you add it all up collectively, it's a significant sum. Plus, you got to pay salaries and administrative fees, and there ain't no telling how else that money is being used. Something's going on there. But why would Biden do that unless there was something coming back to him? His donors. Oh my God, big business. They need those Hispanics to come in here and work in their companies for low-ass wages. So Biden's going to supply them with a bunch of cheap labor, F the blacks, And that's the way things are going with the Democratic Party. Y'all go ahead and keep on voting for him then.
Story here where she challenged President Trump to come see her, come meet with her for that debate. Well, I'll match that. Come to the border and meet America's sheriffs, and let's talk about this border, because she hasn't been here to talk to us.
Since you like to talk to people.
So what happens then? Let's say she's elected president. What are your fears? Because she seems to be pointing out on the stump, maybe they say the best defense is a good offense. To say,
Now, come on, Ned. This is just a short interview here. You asking him a question that's going to take us the rest of the damn day to answer. Ease up on the man. He looks tired.
look at the progress we made at the border. The president took actions on his own because the Republicans wouldn't help him because they were afraid to challenge Donald Trump with this bipartisan measure that looked winnable. Then he stopped it. So you've heard all of that, Sheriff. And she is going to say, I would be stepping into office with the wind at my back and the improvement at the border and these actions.
Not an improvement at the border. If she gets on the stage and says that someone needs to throw a glass of water on her or something, cool her down, she's tripping. It might be the heat. I don't know. How in the hell can you say you got the wind at your back? Which she didn't say, he did. But she feels that way. She feels that they had a very successful administration. And they really did. They did everything they wanted to do, their policies, their way, and they didn't share their intentions with us. And when you ask him direct questions, that's why she's avoiding the press right now. As soon as you start hitting her with them questions, Kamala might not make it. I'm telling you, you guys, seriously speaking, I don't think she will. She might, but it's about to get real messed up out there. And she's going to have to answer some hard questions. Because Biden was so impaired, she really does have to shoulder the brunt of this. She has to accept this as her own. You can't act like you're just coming into the White House or running for the White House. No, you were in there for 3.5 years with Joe Biden, and you got a lot of explaining to do.
The Democrats had to take because Republicans wouldn't. What would you say?
Well, the past is the best indicator of the future. And what I worry about that is for 3.5 years, Neil, she has failed to prioritize the southwest border. And now they're playing the word game of what she wasn't the borders are. Well, nobody argued, debated that for 3.5 years up to the last couple of weeks. And that's a little upsetting, especially us that have been on the front line dealing with this and during the tragedies that we're seeing on almost a daily basis down here. So to hear her say that, no, I'm not the borders are now, then who was?
And, real quick, yeah, she's going to deny it. She's going to shirk her responsibility. Of course she is. But what really gets me is how come the United States isn't putting any kind of pressure on these countries, these South American countries, to do something about their border crisis. It ain't ours. It's becoming ours because we're allowing it to. We need to lock down our border. We have the resources. We have the money. We have everything. That can be a military action. And you tell me you ain't got that money in that military industrial complex. You can easily. I like the way Trump was. Remember, we were always like, oh my God, he's taking money out of here and using it over. Well, it's just sitting there. Ain't nobody else doing nothing. That's his goddamn agenda, and he doing it. I don't know if I agree with everything he do, but I'll tell you this. If you go into office and Congress is at a deadlock and they keep tripping, you just got to start signing the executive orders. You had made some campaign promises, and goddamn it, if you don't fulfill them, you better die trying. And let your constituency know what you're up to and that you are pulling for them. You're being met with resistance. But you can't just go in there and do nothing or make a left and don't tell nobody about it. And that's what Biden and those guys are doing to us.
Who was dressing this? Because everybody, in the letters we've sent to President Biden and the White House on the vote of no confidence, asking for engagement, asking for acknowledgement, they never answered us. So obviously they didn't want to talk to us between the last 3.5 years. So why now?
How do you have a police agency corresponding with the White House with no proper response? No one came down and addressed these people. Someone at the border with this issue we got going on is corresponding with you and reaching out, and you don't respond, and you're about to run for president. You're about to try to take another 4 years of our lives and do nothing with it. But these immigrants, the ones that have come in through this first 4 years, let's track them in 4 more years or 8 years and see where they are. They're going to be doing pretty good. This country is a wonderful opportunity for freshly arriving immigrants. It's just a horrible hellhole for black people who were released as slaves. Never. Because we are still kind of locked down there. You guys have to think about it, the way Biden and them are doing us, and we're allowing it to be done because they make us believe it's all for us. Hey, you guys will benefit from all these immigrants coming in. I don't know how, but anyway, maybe they can move you out of your house and get it because you don't need it.
Because it's all about politics and it's about winning an election. It's not about the people. And that's where I get upset about, Neil. Every elected official has an obligation, primary obligation, to protect the people. And when you're not doing that, you're not serving your office properly.
No, you're not. Actually, you're serving yourself and those rich donors, because you cannot be serving people if you're hurting them. If you're hurting people, who isn't being hurt? We got to find that out. Kamala, who is bankrolling you? Let us know. Get on the mic and let it out there. Speak about your donors. Speak about what they're asking you to do, because it should line up with what your constituents want. And if it doesn't, we got an issue. We can do better, you guys. I know we can.
Now, some say it's the weather that's really helping these numbers. Nothing they're doing. It's just ridiculously hot, and this is not.
Yeah, it's just so hot. People just melt and then just pour into the country like water. What kind of shit is that? Of course, that's stupidity. It can be cold, hot, tornado. They're coming. They're coming. And they let us know it when they knew that Biden had a real good chance of beating Trump, or that he was even in the race. They already were on their way. Talking about some of these people will be walking for 200 or 300 miles. How you just take off on a journey for a border to go into a country with no indication that you're going to get in? They weren't walking toward that border when Trump was in there. And then as soon as they felt the inclination that it is possible Biden might win, let's go. It's horrible. He should be embarrassed.
The season, you see record numbers. What do you say?
Well, we always have a roller coaster of numbers, up and down. Even in our sector of the Tucson sector, which leads when it comes to the gotaways, we see the up and down. We've seen it for 3.5 years. Weather dictates that. Heat dictates that. The cold weather dictates it. So, again, we see it, but it hasn't stopped. Let me be clear, Neil, to you. 3,660 people in over 30 months have been booked in my jail for border-related state crimes, not immigration, state crimes. Wow. $12.5 million with zero reimbursement from the federal government.
That's someone's budget. $12.5 million. That's someone's budget. And they're taking their resources and using them for something that they were not allocated for and not being reimbursed. I'd be pissed.
And one thing I just found out yesterday, Neil, I think it's important that I share this with you, and we'll share it with Mr. Vance when he comes here tomorrow, is the fact that Congress reduced the budget for DEA, for Stone Garden, which is one of our most productive programs with the federal government, and that is our interdiction programs, and last for HIDTA, which is high-intensity drug trafficking. Reduce those budgets on all three, one of the major components that we use on the border to combat fentanyl and drug trafficking on the border.
Why don't we just go down there and take the cartel out? I mean, honestly, why don't the U.S. go down there with its National Guard or military or the hell you want to use? We got guns all over the place. And take them out. Finish it, end it. Remember the black people that just got, they were on vacation, or one of the ladies was going over there to have a procedure or something done, and they yanked them out of the car, and the car, I mean, come on, man. When they doing that to American citizens, albeit they were black, but they still deserve some kind of, acknowledgement, so other countries just don't be treating Americans that way. But I guess they kind of see how you guys treat us, so they kind of just, act that way because you guys do. Maybe you should treat us a little better, and the rest of the world will pick up on it.
Something's got to change, to your point, Sheriff. Good luck tomorrow with Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance. You'll both have a very busy day. Keep us posted, sir. Sheriff, again, thank you.
Wow, that was a good interview. And I really appreciated the fact that at the end of the interview, he thanked him. It was very cordial and polite. But that sheriff and that information that he just gave should enlighten a whole lot of people. These are the kind of interviews you should be looking for. This is the kind of stuff you need in order to get your stuff together out there. And we are not, and I'm telling you, not going to do well if we continue to accept the lies of the Democratic Party. They're trying to harm us with their policies, and they require us to vote them into office, and then they turn around and use our vote against us. It makes no sense, and we're going to have to wisen up, folks. It's going to have to wisen up. I can't take much more of this myself. And I damn sure ain't voting for Kamala Harris unless Kamala Harris is willing to sit down with real black leaders and negotiate something that's going to move us in the right direction. And I don't mean the Congressional Black Caucus, and I don't mean any of those congressmen or senators who are comfortable with their salaries and being able to sit next to white people all day. Because I think that really is their incentive for being there. They get to be in a room full of white people who hate them. That got to be one of the best feelings in the world for a person who kind of leads its people and looks out for its people the way they do. There's absolutely no way they're in there to help us. So what is it? Is it just being in the presence of them? Or is it just being able to speak eloquently to them so they can say, hey, that's an intelligent one. Now, if the rest of them were like that, we'd be nice to them. I mean, what the hell is going on with this racism in the Democratic Party that we don't see because they keep telling us the Republicans are racist? Wake up. And like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next Black Popcorn. I really appreciate the support. Bye-bye.